What is up, everybody? Welcome back. I hope you're all having a good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. And I hope you're excited for some good NFL playoff content because we just had a great weekend with four awesome games, really. And we've got a really good weekend coming up. Before I get into the video and everything, Ryan, as always, thank you for being here. He's our go-to NFL guy. He's back for this video. Thank you for being here, as always. But there's one thing I want to show everybody before we get into it. I got an exclusive Nike X Hold Down the Fort collab piece right here. Just something, basic, little white tee with the Nike and Hold Down the Fort. Just had to show everybody that. Yeah, you gotta flex on them a little bit. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. Is that like you guys want some more of that? Anyone else want an exclusive piece? But with that being said, let's get straight into the video because we do have a lot to talk about today. And really, before we get into the conference stuff and the recap of the divisional round, there was some head coaching news today, and there's a lot of storylines and narratives permeating. So I just want to touch on that for a little bit. Raheem Morris gets hired by the Falcons to be their head coach. He was the defensive coordinator of the Rams, for those who don't know. And this only leaves 2 job openings left in the NFL after Harbaugh also got hired. I guess it was yesterday, right? So after he got hired yesterday or this morning.
Yesterday, 2 days ago. It was recently.
Yeah, just recently, Harbaugh got hired as well to be the Chargers head coach. And we'll talk about those moves in a sec. But before I get into that, that leaves 2 head coaching jobs left and 3 overly qualified, extremely good, 2 Hall of Fame head coaches left on the market to fill up 2 jobs.
And one Ring of Honor coach.
Right, exactly. And that is the Washington Commanders and the Seattle Seahawks. And while I don't think the Commanders' job is ideal, even though you have cap space, young talent, etc., the Seahawks' job, that's got to be that best job. And it's interesting what they're going to do. It was a surprise move to let Pete Carroll go in the first place. But from the outside, it really looks like you have the entire roster in place outside of maybe Geno Smith at quarterback. And you have a decent draft position, even though like you were just outside of that wild card spot. You have a pretty solid draft position in terms of this loaded quarterback class. You're not in cap hell by any means. You've got good receiving core with DK and Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett. You've got good running backs with Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. You've got a pretty decent O-line with some talented rookies like Charles Cross and other young guys up there. And your defense was pretty good too. Yeah, the secondary is elite, especially when Jamal Adams gets a full healthy season. His legs back under him. You got Jamal Adams, Devon Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, and more in that defense. Veterans like White. Like, this is a good roster. Yep. And they're ready to go, right? Like, I think with the right head coach and maybe the right quarterback and an offensive coordinator, stuff like that, this team is ready to go. It can compete right now. And it looked pretty good. It looked like they could do that for most of the regular season until they kind of faltered off towards the end. But Ryan, with Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, and Pete Carroll all on the market, obviously Pete Carroll's not getting the Seattle job back. What is going on here? And is a guy like who of these 3, if not multiple, like who's getting unlucky? Are any of these 3 going to get a head coaching job before this cycle wraps up?
Well, I'd be shocked if Vrabel doesn't out of the 3. I think
I agree. That's the most shocking one to me if none get a job.
Yeah, and I have nothing against Pete Carroll and Belichick. They're both Hall of Fame coaches. But what I think the new thing is, in terms of teams, is going for young coaches that understand the players and also could be with your team if successful for 15 plus years. Belichick, if you hire him right now, he's not going to be on your team in 5 years probably.
Right.
But them still not being hired is still insane to me. I think, I'm not the biggest Belichick fan. I do believe it was Brady and not him for 20 years. And I think Brady proved that when he went to Tampa. But the fact that he's not even hired or, maybe favorite for a defensive coordinator or favorite for something is crazy to me. Vrabel 100% should have a job. He's the youngest. He gets people to play for him. And Pete
he
Carroll
did a lot with not much in terms of talent. Like, he went to the playoffs almost every year, and he was taking these weeks. They were the 1 seed in 2021 with Ryan Tannehill as your fucking quarterback.
A 1 seed, yeah. But Pete Carroll, it's the same thing. He's older. I think he's older than Belichick. At least he looks older than Belichick.
It's probably about the same realistically.
I think he should go in Seattle's front office. I don't think he should leave.
That's what he is right now. He's like a counsel in a counseling position, so which makes sense. Like, it's fair enough, It's just, but I guess he's still viable for a head coaching job if somebody wants him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should stay. That city loves him. The team loves him. The organization loves him. But Belichick, maybe a DC somewhere, but Vrabel 100% should have a coaching job. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if we look at the people who got hired, Tennessee's offensive coordinator is the one, and like that's a move that was really, or sorry, it was Cincinnati's offensive coordinator
Yeah.
went to be Tennessee's head coach, and that was a move that was kind of shocking to me because we thought Zach Taylor called the plays, and Cincinnati's offense isn't anything revolutionary, even though they've had success with Burrow. I felt like there was better candidates on the market, quite frankly, for the head coaching position, but Tennessee did that. The Falcons, after interviewing Belichick and Vrabel, go with Raheem Morris from LA. That's intriguing. I'm not going to fault the Chargers for hiring Harbaugh. That's it's an expected move. It's a good move. I'm not going to sit here and say I have an issue with that. But it's just in what looked like it was going to be such a packed head coaching cycle. Not a lot of teams made the firings that maybe we were speculating they would make, and I think that's
Also, a
kind of
lot of
led to this whole
teams are
situation.
hiring new coordinators that have never been a
Right?
coach
Yeah.
before.
Or
You know,
in the Raiders' case, they're just promoting the Antonio
I
Pierce
love
to
that
their
move though.
yeah, yeah,
If they didn't
agreed.
hire
No
him,
issue
he would
here.
have been the first coach off, other than Harbaugh and if Belichick, I thought was going to be first off.
Right.
But
And I mean, we see coordinator openings still. Obviously, the teams that lost their coordinators, they're going to be open. The Dolphins, which we can touch on real quick. Vic Fangio goes to the Eagles, and a move that me and you were talking about. We're celebrating. Us
yeah,
normal Dolphins fans over here celebrating that move. We can finally get a new guy in our defense who's actually good at his job in 2024.
I'm not
But we
saying Vic
see, and
Fangio
we were just
hasn't
talking
done.
about it. People are mad on Twitter. Like
Yeah.
Dolphins fans are upset at this move, and it baffles me.
Now, Vic Fangio, I get it. He has a very successful resume. But
Yeah,
for
exactly.
my
The
1
history is
year with
good.
my team, he didn't play the young players. He held vendettas like Belichick, where if he doesn't like you, you don't play the whole year, no matter how talented you are. And I just felt like it didn't fit our young team, young coaches, young culture. It just didn't work. And that's what the issue was. I'm sure he's a great coach. He's been a great coach, but it didn't work with us.
And how did it work when he went with the Eagles in that short stint last year? A defensive advisor or whatever it was.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
got sold
tampering
all
didn't
over.
work.
The Chiefs put up 38 in the Super Bowl.
And their defense looks worse this year.
Right, and that
They
was,
got cooked by
cycling
Baker
through
Mayfield.
right, and they went through Desai, and then they switched to Coach Pencil, as Skip Bayless would say,
And then
Matt
they lost what,
Patricia.
like 6 of their last 7, or they
Yeah,
played
those 6 of the last 7
off.
blown out. It was pathetic, and now Vic Fangio goes there, and guess what it's gonna be? It's just gonna be more pathetic, right?
Yeah,
So
Jalen
I'm
Hurts
happy
will do
as
some
that.
inspirational quotes and
But
talk
you
to
know what?
you know.
With Vrabel and Belichick on the market, Ryan, me and you can be delusional Dolphins fans for a little bit while
I'll
we're in the
take either.
offseason. Yeah, we can sit here and say, hey, come be our DC if you don't get a head coaching job. Put them on a 1-year deal. I don't even care. You
Yeah,
can make it a 1-year deal, and they can go be a head coach next offseason. Or for one
Fangio is
year,
a 1-year deal. Why not?
right? For with the defensive talent that they have back there when everyone's healthy, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take either of those. So
And then Vrabel, 1 year DC. McDaniel doesn't keep doing it. Internal promotion next year. I mean,
yeah, hey,
I'm just saying.
right, might as well. But
Like the Patriots had a backup plan.
yeah, I think they had that succession plan. I didn't even mention that Gerard Mayo got hired. He got promoted from within. That was their succession plan for a while. So we'll see if it's a good hire or not. But that's been where they known they were going to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that being said, though, I just want to touch on a little bit of some coaching talk because there was a lot of news today, and there's news going forward. So if we meet next week, we'll keep discussing when the Commanders and the Seahawks make their
They
decisions.
hopefully will have everything settled by next week.
Yeah, I saw a report today that the Commanders are just waiting until after the conference championship game. So I'm kind of interested to see what that's about.
Yeah. And
I
hopefully
did
we
see
have a coordinator.
something. I saw something today. A report of not a report, but just fan speculation of could Andy Reid possibly retire and Bill Belichick goes and takes his place, and that would just be the most insane coaching succession.
I don't
Dude,
think
I
the
mean, it would
Chiefs
be
would do
over.
that.
Give Belichick Patrick Mahomes and that defense that they've got there, and it's game over.
I don't think Mahomes would want that either, though.
Maybe, yeah,
No.
maybe not. It was
Mahomes is
yeah.
that team. He says what he wants, and he's going to get what he wants.
I agree. I mean, it's just cool speculation. It would be interesting to watch. But anyways, I just want to switch over to kind of the divisional games real quick to recap that before we move into our main topic of today. Ryan, what are your main? We don't have to go through each game, but just tell me from the weekend as a whole, what were your main takeaways? Is there anything that really stood out to you from the 4 games, or anything that we should talk about here?
Yeah, from the divisional round.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was, Baker did have a pick at the end. Baker still impressed me. Like, there's no way
was
this guy
impressed.
isn't going to
I
get
gotta
money
admit.
this offseason.
Yeah.
Because he was on a 1-year prove-it deal. So I think Tampa should resign him. I mean, they they made it to the divisional round and lost by a touchdown on the road to a Lions team that may have one of the brightest futures in the league with the youth they have. The
You gotta think
Packers
somewhere in that,
also,
like, maybe, like, 3 years, 90 million, something like that. I mean, for about a starting caliber quarterback in this league,
yeah,
it's about what you're gonna
yeah.
get.
No, but I mean, think about the Packers also. So much youth, like they're going to be great in 2, 3
Yo,
seasons.
dude, Packers scare me. That was really impressive. Jordan Love came out at, like, he started the year off kinda good, got cold, and
Yeah, I
the way
mean,
he came
even though
on at
he's
the end
year
is
4, he's
sensational.
a rookie. He's a
Yeah,
rookie essentially.
you're right, right. Yeah, he
So
was amazing. He looks really good. They didn't, and this is without Watson and Dobbs, the standouts from last year doing their thing. It was more the rookies like Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, the tight ends that are good, and so they're
that's
really
what I'm
impressive.
saying. Their whole team, they have the youngest team in the league. They're going to be scary.
Yeah,
And
I
then
agree.
low key, the same with the Lions. Brian Branch is one of their best defense players.
He's a dog.
Gibbs, Laporta. I mean, they're all
If there's
young.
one if there's one thing Iowa will do, it'll churn out offensive linemen and tight ends, and
That's it.
Laporta's like the fifth Iowa tight end to come in this league and just be a monster.
That's it. They're like a lock. It used to be Notre Dame tight ends. Before that, it used to be Miami. It's
If you see a
transition
Notre
Iowa.
Dame offensive lineman outside of Liam Eichenberg, it's a lock. If you see
That's
an
the
Iowa
only
tight end,
only one. Even though his brother is a linebacker, I would not
yeah, his
trust him.
brother's up at Ohio State.
I would not trust him.
No, I wouldn't. But like, look at Notre Dame, Quentin Nelson, the guy in the draft now, Joe Alt. Yeah, Iowa's got
All
all these guys. They're
they
crazy.
also produce like backup linemen and stuff. Like every year they have one that comes
It's
in
just
and
one. Yeah,
yeah. And then Chiefs Bills, I mean, dude, Josh
that is
Allen is an alien.
generational football.
I hate Josh Allen so much, but dude, that one pass he had where they were on the 10-yard line and he threw it in the air, probably 70 yards to Diggs, and he dropped it.
Yeah,
I Dude, it was a rain. It was like this for 70. I sat there. I
it
was
was an
like, "There's
amazing
no way."
throw. I mean, I sat here
He's an
rooting for the
alien.
Chiefs, but
Of course, I was rooting for the Chiefs.
yeah.
The lesser of two evils. But Stephon Diggs, there's no way he's not gone. He
I
played
saw
like
a report
shit.
that said that there's no intentions of moving him, so I don't know what their
He
plan
played
is.
like shit for the last ever since the Dolphin game. He did nothing all season.
And that happens routinely now, where at the end of the season he declines heavily.
But
And
he
he,
declined in the first month.
yeah, I don't know if you saw the stat between him and Shakir, the other receiver on the team. Diggs had 80 targets in their last like 8 games. Diggs had 80 targets. Shakir had 34. Shakir outgained him by like 100 yards on 34 targets. It was
That's crazy
ridiculous.
because Shakir is like what, their wide receiver 3 or 4. I mean,
I think he's 2 because Gabe Davis was hurt, but they
yeah,
all
well, for
rotate
that
after
game, but
Diggs.
usually
Right.
Gabe Davis is number 2.
Yeah, usually
But
Shakir's like the
he's
number 3
gone.
guy in
He's gonna
short
leave
field.
this year. Gabe
Yeah, I
Davis,
agree.
big play Gabe, bro.
But he is. I mean, Allen, Allen and Mahomes is a generational matchup every time. Even though Allen loses every time, it has still given us some of the best football games in the playoffs that we have
I
seen in
agree.
recent
And the
years.
thing is, I was low key nervous that they were running the clock out and they were gonna get a touchdown and not even give Mahomes a chance.
I know. I thought that's what was gonna happen. I
And
wasn't
and
expecting them to
then
come up.
the one thing about Josh Allen, he didn't throw picks. He did have a bad fumble, but it went out of bounds.
Yeah.
So he didn't technically have a fumble or a pick, but that the play calling on those 3 plays when you're on the 15 or 25, that it was one bad throw would have walked in the end zone. He had the
Mhm.
guy, 2 other bad plays, and you leave it in the hands of a kicker on a windy, snowy night. And
Well, you know what, dude? The play calling as a whole for the whole game, there wasn't a single chunk play of more than 20 yards for the whole
I agree.
game.
They said, "Oh my god, I wish I could
It was like
find
the
the
first
tweet."
time. It was like the first time it's happened where there's no plays of 20 or more yards, and no wonder he's not turning it over. It's gonna be hard to throw a pick when
And they say
you're throwing dink and
Purdy
dunk
and
routes the entire
Tua
game.
and all them are the check down kings. He didn't have a pass, like you said, over 20 yards. And it was the first time I think they said in like recorded history of them tracking downfield metrics.
Yeah.
And
I
he
mean,
only attempted 2 past 20 yards, and it was the Diggs drop and then one other.
I
I
think it
think
went off
it was
Sherfield,
the
I'm pretty
drop
sure.
on that last drive because that
Yeah.
was an end zone.
Yeah, it was 2
Um,
big plays that they attempted
but
in the first place.
that offense coordinator, he got a lot of love. What is it, Joe Brady or whatever the name is?
Yeah, because they fired Dorsey, brought in Brady. And he did do a good
Dorsey was
job. Like, that's
not
when they started
bad.
winning.
Dorsey was not bad. They just started hitting their groove when they got him. He's
Mhm.
done nothing to make them a better team than what Ken Dorsey was doing. Ken Dorsey's like a dude.
I
Ken
think
Dorsey's
the
a
whole
Miami
point
legend.
I think the whole point of it was just getting Josh to cut back on the turnovers, which I mean, in a
Which he
way,
did.
was a
He still threw
success.
a pick every week.
Yeah,
And then he's still throwing a pick every week. And your playbook is to call it like a baby where he doesn't throw the ball
right.
more than 5 yards and he runs every time. And you do that in the playoffs. There's no way that guy should still have an offense coordinator job, even if he was interim. Still.
It'll be interesting to see if they leave him permanently because there
But
was like
Sam,
I
his
guess
game
improvement.
plan was to literally play like prevent defense, but on offense.
Yeah.
Like
And the
where
run
you
game
just
came along too. This was the first time Buffalo's really had a consistent run game between James Cook and like even guys like Murray and Fournette were. I don't know if Fournette contributed this
and
game,
why
but
did they
yeah.
start doing that? Because the new coordinator wanted the ball out of Allen's hands.
Which is good though because they did need a run game because every year it was just Allen do all the running.
I'm not
James
hating on
Cook's
the run
emergence
game,
this year was helpful
but
for
I'm
them.
hating on they literally try to do the runs, the run game, and the screens and the checkdowns because they don't want Allen throwing the ball more than 2 yards because they know what he does. What did he do in that Miami game? CTE. Like,
Yeah, that and we still found a way to lost, of course, because
yeah, I mean that, unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm just saying for him specifically, like I mean, as a Dolphin fan, keep that coordinator. I'm fine with it. But they should. Also, they paid Von Miller a few
six
years ago.
years,
I made fun of
120.
this.
I don't know how much of that is voidable, like down the stretch. I doubt all
No,
six
they're
years are
cooked.
legit,
They're
but
cooked.
yeah.
They paid
And
them.
Allen's cap hit goes up to like
They paid a
40 million
30-year-old
too.
linebacker for like 6 years, like 15 million a year or something, and everyone was like, "What?"
No, it's 20. 6 years, 120 million. 20 million a year straight
And
up.
Josh Allen's cap is up to 40 million
Yeah,
next year.
it goes up this year. It was low this year. Um, yeah, I don't know. The Bills are gonna be in an interesting spot, and you have a lot of free agents. I get it. There's a lot of injuries on the defensive side, but you just can't make that excuse every year.
Yeah.
One way or another, you just got to beat
You
Mahomes
want
in
to
the
talk about
playoffs
injuries? The
eventually.
Dolphins' injuries are
Right.
that was injuries.
Chiefs got
Losing
injured
two
too.
linebackers isn't injuries. All right?
Yeah, Chiefs were injured during the game. I don't know. Everyone's injured, but it was a great weekend of divisional
Yeah.
football all around. My
Can't wait for
favorite,
this weekend.
honestly, I think I like this one a little bit more than I did last year. Honestly, can't really. Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of any crazy games we had last year that would rival this. But that brings us with two. I think these are two amazing conference championship games for two different reasons on each side.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chiefs and Ravens. That is just generational football. That's up here. But I don't want to sleep on Niners and Lions either because it's going to be close. It's going to be interesting. These two teams are really good. You know, they both got really good coaches. But they both have good quarterbacks and really good skill position players. Which of these two games do you think you're more excited for? I know where I'm at, and I think I know where you're at. I just kind of want to hear your opinion on which of these two games you're a bit more excited for.
Honestly, obviously Chiefs Ravens, right?
Yeah, right.
But
Mahomes versus
I
Lamar.
think
You can't
Lions
beat that.
Niners is the one where I have the most questions, right? It's Brock Purdy in the conference championship. He played one
Last pick of
drive
the
against
draft
Philly.
versus first pick of the draft.
Not even that. He played one drive against Philly and blew his shoulder out, right? Obviously,
Well,
that's why they
Reddick took down his elbow, but that wasn't like an accidental injury. Like Reddick slammed into him. But yeah, I know what
But
you
what
mean.
I'm saying is, we saw him for like one drive. Obviously, they get killed because they lose their quarterback in the conference
Mhm,
championship. We haven't seen Purdy in the conference championship, in my book, right?
mhm. No, you're fair. That's fair.
And then also the Purdy allegations, check down merchant, game manager,
Yeah.
and then the Lions. Jared Goff has gotten a team to the Super Bowl before.
Right. And he's been in and I'm sure I think he's been in another NFC championship outside of that Super Bowl, if I'm not
Yes,
wrong.
that game, Lions Niners, I'm the most excited for in terms of what version of each team is going to come out because we don't know. We've never seen these teams in this position. Lions, obviously, they haven't won a playoff game 30 years for this year.
So props
And
to them for
then,
winning two against two teams that we thought could both beat them.
yeah, and then the Niners, I mean, they were in it last year, but they lost their quarterback in the first quarter. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? But Chiefs Ravens, if you get Lamar mode, and you get Mahomes as Mahomes is winning.
But how is Lamar going to do in a playoff environment this uptight? You know, for whatever we say about, oh, he's had his playoff struggles, he played a good game last week. And don't get me wrong, the Texans were a surging team. But let's not look at the Texans like they're some world beaters, okay? I know CJ
They
Stroud
were
is
cut in
awesome.
half. That's pathetic, Sam.
Yeah, I know CJ Stroud, you know, really good rookie QB, right? Like really good QB period. Probably top 5 already. But
Yeah.
let's not look at the rest of that roster. Like, okay, Nico Collins is you're going up against as your wide receiver one. Dalton Schultz is a serviceable
Yeah,
tight
no
end. He's good.
Dell, like,
All right, no
you know,
Tank Dell. Your offensive line is not all that. Like the defense, especially, is not all that. So let's not look at the Texans like they're some world beaters. This is the Arrowhead Invitational. That's not an Arrowhead this year. Okay, the Chiefs. I mean, they're the top. They're the team to beat in the league, really. But in the AFC, they're an AFC dynasty. I'm interested to see if maybe we were too early to say that Lamar has overcome the playoff struggles.
Oh, I'm not saying that yet. I'm not,
Yeah, but just a
because
lot of people.
you know what's inevitable. Running into someone that's been there, and no matter what, you know what you're getting. When was the last time Mahomes choked in a playoff
Mahomes is
game?
never going to be the one to disappear in the moment, right? Like
I think
he
the
did it
last
on
time
one leg, he
Mahomes,
did it with nobody.
I think the last time Mahomes choked in a playoff game was when he got sacked 30 times against Brady in the Super Bowl.
Right, and that was in the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, yeah, and it was, mind you,
Mahomes
that was
don't
the
go
first,
out losing like
mind you, that was
normal
the first
games.
ever road Super Bowl because it was in Tampa.
Yep. And then the following year, the Rams,
Got
back-to-back
the home
years, there was
Super
a
Bowl,
home Super
yeah,
Bowl.
which was so unheard of. But anyways, so yeah, I don't know. When I look at Chiefs Ravens, I mean, who really like? I know we're kind of talking about it now, but who's got the most to gain from this game and who has the most to lose? For me, if Mahomes wins an AFC championship and he's in the Super Bowl this year of all years with the drops in the
With the worst
receivers,
roster he's had
right?
allegedly on
The worst,
offense, not
the worst
defense,
offense.
but
Yeah, the worst
offense.
offense that he's ever had. I mean, Rashee Rice is just now becoming like a solid receiver, and he's a rookie, and he's under like 900 yards on the year. Kelsey's, we can all admit he's past his prime.
I think he might retire if they win.
Yeah, he might. I agree. I totally agree. And then, like, you look at the
Would be
offensive
perfect
line.
timing.
This is not last year's offensive line. These guys are not playing up to where they were last year. So if Mahomes does it now and he makes it to his 4th Super Bowl, and what is it, 6 years of starting, 7 years in the league, 6 years of starting, 4 Super Bowls. I mean, we can talk about building a GOAT case after the Super Bowl should he win it.
I mean, he's already a Hall of Famer if he retires too.
100%. He's already a Hall of Famer. He wins one more this year. Does the first back-to-back we've seen in a long time, 4 Super Bowls and what would it be? 4 Super Bowls in 5 years? I think.
No, he's won 2.
He's won 2, but I'm saying how many would he have appeared in? Because I think the Bengals in 2021 is the last time he didn't make the Super Bowl.
We lost to Brady.
Well, he beat the Niners.
What?
He beat the Niners.
He beat the Niners in Miami. That was his
first. And then next year lost to Brady. Then Burrow. And then Mahomes won it again. And then this year.
Against Philly. So he only has 2 right now. And he's
only been, but he's been there. I'm saying he's been there.
He's been there 1, 2, and lost 1.
Yeah. So and if he makes it this year, it's 4 times he's been there in 5 years, and that's just unheard of for outside of Brady. I don't know. I think Mahomes has the most to gain. Lamar has a ton to gain too because I think
Lamar does because Mahomes already we know what he is. Lamar needs to prove I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Because
he puts a Super Bowl under his belt. Him and Mahomes are in a category of their own in terms of.
We're talking about building a GOAT case for Mahomes. I get it. He has enough to gain, but Lamar's never been in the Super Bowl. Lamar's never won a big. When's last has Lamar ever won a big playoff game?
No, it was one wild card or divisional round, and then against CJ Stroud.
He has the most to gain, but obviously Mahomes is still going to do his thing.
Yeah.
So.
I agree. I mean, but if for Lamar in his case, if they do go on and win the Super Bowl, I think that puts him and Mahomes in just a completely they're in their category of their own in terms of quarterbacks in the league right now. It would be Mahomes, Lamar, big gap, Burrow, Stroud, Allen in their own category, another big gap,
and then everyone else.
Lawrence, Hurts, and you can debate from there. I think those are the top 7. Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not a fan of Lawrence. I'm not a fan of Lawrence.
No, me neither. But I think. If you look at the guys that I could name in that group with him, like the Daks and the Tuas, I still think he's better than those guys. So
I think his group is the Dak, Tua, Hurts, Lawrence, Herbert group.
Yeah, but even I look at those guys, I feel like Lawrence, Herbert, and Hurts are just a little better than Dak and Tua. I don't feel like those guys are all on the same tier.
It'd be an A-B of the 3rd tier.
Yeah, true. If you want to play 3 and 3.5, maybe something like that.
And then basically those are Pro Bowl and up. And then everything else. I still think Purdy is Purdy we could put on the Tua and Dak.
Yeah, I think Purdy has definitely earned at least that spot. If he wins this game and goes to the Super Bowl, I think you can argue that he's fringe top 10 probably, that upper 3 group with Trevor Lawrence and them. We'll see. We'll have to talk about that. When the season ends, we'll have to do a quarterback tiers list thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And see where everyone's at.
Also, we got a lot of talent that's going to be coming in. There's going to be a CJ Stroud of this next class, Sam. There's going to be a crazy rookie quarterback goes crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we got to look at CJ Stroud of this year. I forgot if I mentioned it. He's in that 2nd tier of quarterbacks. I'm blanking if I put him with the Allen and Burrows and them, but he's there. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, man. Between Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Penix, one of those five has to hit, and that's not even counting the like later round QBs like the
Yeah, like a Joe
McCarthy's,
Milton or
the Joe Milton, JJ McCarthy, Jordan
also
Travis group. But
Hendon Hooker. I mean, what if he
we'll
gets
wait and
traded?
see. I mean, he's waiting behind Goff, but
But I'm just saying, you never
yeah,
know. What if think about how many injuries there were this year, Sam?
a lot, a lot. Someone's gonna get their chance next year,
That's
and
what I'm
someone's gonna
saying.
sign.
It could be a
I totally
rookie,
agree.
or it could be someone that gets a chance and they go crazy.
I
So
totally agree. As far as Niners and Lions goes, before we wrap it up, I'm gonna probably just ask the same question honestly, because there's so much at stake for both of these teams.
it's all on Purdy.
I think it's all on Purdy, but man, I think we really have to look at Jared Goff another way if he gets a second team to the Super Bowl.
I agree.
I think
Like,
we have to put a little more respect on his name
yeah,
if he clutches up and puts especially the Lions, who have had no
I was
team
gonna say
success.
his career evaluation would go through the roof if he somehow gets to a second Super Bowl,
Yeah,
win
I
or
think
lose,
there's a complete
win or lose.
180. I think right now we probably look at it as like McVay and the roster got him there, and maybe that's true. I don't know, but if he does it
Remember,
this
he was
time,
traded as a salary cap filler.
hmm if
For,
he does it this time with the Lions of all teams, and there's no one on that team who's just 10 times better than Jared Goff, right? Like they're all kind of in the same group. I would
yeah,
say that we totally have to look at him a different way if he wins on Sunday.
I agree. So he has a lot to gain, but obviously the most on Purdy. The national media is turned on him. Cam Newton. So,
Even if Purdy wins, though, will everybody as a whole ever truly put respect on his
well,
name?
it
I think,
depends on how he plays. How does he win?
yeah,
Does
yeah,
he do
fair enough.
check downs? If Debo's healthy, are they running it or is he making big time plays, big time throws in the clutch? What if he has to do a game winning drive?
Yeah, I
Think
agree.
about it.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I'm really excited. These are gonna be a lot of good games. But with all that being said, we don't obviously have too much to talk about and don't have to take too long because we only have 2 games this weekend, but 2 really good
Yeah.
games. But we wrapped up our regular season best bets, and when the total season is over, we'll count it up and see what happened. Even though I think it's pretty apparent that you took this one home, I do want to get a few bets in for our gamblers out there for
Yeah.
this
We
weekend.
pull up Hard Rock Sportsbook so I can get the line, see what we got.
Yeah, a little free promo in there.
Yeah. We got betting finally.
Drop your code so we can get some referrals.
I gotta see what my referral is. But yeah, so what are we doing? Three? Or maybe only
yeah.
2. There's 2 games. Let's do 2. Let's do 2.
Yeah, you can do, and then you can drop some player props if you want. But yeah, give me your 2.
Well, I was gonna probably do player props, honestly,
Yeah.
just
All
because
right, yeah, go for it.
the lines are there's not like a crazy line either way. I mean, the Niners are minus 350, which is pretty high.
Yeah.
Good value on the Lions, but that I feel like I'd live bet if anything on that.
Yeah, agreed.
I do think though, Pacheco plus 130 for anytime touchdown,
I like that.
he's just a monster. I don't see him not getting a touchdown. Now Kelsey's a plus 115, but he got 2 easy touchdowns, and they're going to be focused on him this week. Pacheco goal line, they're not doing a tush push, So I like Pacheco. The Ravens, I hate touching because on the goal line, Lamar Jackson could score, Gus Edwards could score, Justice Hill could score,
Anybody could score on the Ravens.
Isaiah Likely could score. Who's the
Patrick
Ricard scored a
Ricard, he
touchdown.
could score.
He's a plus 2250, which is crazy. I just don't trust them on the goal line. Unfortunately. So I'm just gonna do Pacheco for that game. Other game, let me see what props we got for this. I mean, CMC is a minus 425 for an anytime touchdown. If you are betting on an anytime touchdown that's a minus 400, you need to call the hotline. You need to call the hotline. All right, I'm just putting that out there. The hotline needs to be called. But honestly, bro, Purdy's passing yards is over 280. That just seems high to me.
It feels a little high, but I think they're expecting. I don't know why, but I think they're expecting a shootout, which makes no sense. But.
I guess, but
So you're gonna hit the Purdy under?
I think the prop I would pick is, either Gibbs or Montgomery. Both are either 120 or 140. I definitely see them getting some rushing touchdowns.
Which one are you taking?
I'd say Gibbs. Gibbs was hot last game. They're using him in the passing game as well. I would take Gibbs, or I would do a parlay with Gibbs and Montgomery and put them both
Yeah.
on there, and that would be a could make a little something off that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't touch the Niners. There's so many mouths to feed on offense.
I
So
agree. No, I agree.
I wouldn't touch those. What about you, Sam? What you got?
For me, the Chiefs game is honestly harder because I don't know. I feel like
You
there's
don't
so
know
many
if it's going to
different.
be rushing or passing for
Right. I
Lamar.
don't know if it's gonna be rushing or passing, and I don't know like how much of of each is gonna be. I mean, I think in the playoffs, I think it's Kelsey time. I think he just takes over. I'm gonna go with the Kelsey anytime touchdown. We'll just keep it.
Which is crazy because against the Dolphins, he had bad drops, but that last game, he turned
Good
it up.
job. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'll keep it anytime touchdown too. We'll just go all for it on all-time touchdown or
yeah,
anytime touchdown. For the Lions, I'm gonna keep it in the tight end space. I'm going Sam Laporta. He's been a beast.
he's
He
a
was
beast.
playing injured against the Bucks and was
He has
going
that big
crazy.
brace on his knee.
He looked good against the Rams too. And he's on fire. I think he's quickly going to become one of the better tight ends in this league, if he's not already. I'm going Sam Laporta anytime touchdown right there.
Also, Mahomes is a -110 for over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, it's not a bad line. I think most of it's probably going to be passing. I just think this game is so hard to read whether it's going to be a
Yeah,
defensive
I
showdown
can't
or
tell
whether
if
it's
it's
going
going
to
to
be
be
a
a shootout or 10 to 17.
right, something like that. So I'm kind of lost on that front. But Ryan, is there anything any last notes that you want to put in here before we wrap this up?
No, I just hope we don't get a Taylor Swift Super Bowl.
It's in the script, man. Kelsey's going to propose to Taylor Swift after the Super Bowl ends.
Retired him and Andy
Confetti
Reid.
coming down. He's going to retire and propose to Taylor Swift. Andy Reid's going to retire. It's all going to ride off into the sunset. Yeah, I can see it happening now. I think the script has been written.
You heard it here first. That's all I gotta say.
All right, well, thank you guys for all tuning in. It's been a great episode. Ryan, thank you as always for tuning in. I'm super excited for conference championship game, both games this weekend. But guys, please remember to like the video, subscribe, and turn the notifications on. Thank you for the support. We're doing good. We're getting some notable shout-outs on Twitter. Thanks to Michael. I don't know who has seen that. We're making moves. We're setting up a lot of stuff. And stay tuned. We put out a lot of videos this week. When you're seeing this, there should be we put out a little Star Wars one, me and Jared, for the guys who like that. This will be coming out, and we've got a UFC 297 recap coming soon. So we're staying active, but remember, like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, and let me know in the comments what you want to see more of, because I'm catering to your interests. So until then, have a good week. Have a good day, guys.